Are we approving everyone regardless of whether they're, because with the planning commission,
I think we
approved it with who was present and then allowed their appointee to be there with,
We approved the planning commission with everybody, and then we swore in those people that were there that day, and then we had them come back for the people. Susan, am I wrong?
At the last meeting, you voted for all of the planning commission. These that came back today just needed their oath.
Yeah, what are you're asking,
Okay.
like, how do we know who's here, who's not here?
well, we're going to be given oaths.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I will amend my motion again to approve the resolution and the list of all the appointees.
That's right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
I second that motion.
Thank you, Councilwoman. I'm going to call the question. All those in favor of approving the resolution confirming the appointment of the city's inaugural ethics board, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Ayes have it.
Aye.
Yeah, the ayes have it. Yes. All right, so with that being said, let's move forward.
Do we given their oaths?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's not on here, but I'm going to.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
So with that being said, I'm going to call everybody's name one by one. I need you to come to up by the podium, please. Mr. Joel Cope.
Oops, not here.
Okay. Ebony McCants. Tammy Daniel. Karen Clark. Patricia Thomas. Brandon Mitchell. Graham Jagger. I think that's 6.
4, 6. Just missing Joel.
And Joel is not here.
5. We got 5. We're missing 2. 2. Let me make sure. Ebony McCants and Joel. I know
Since Joel is not here. So.
he was working late. He said he had to work late. Okay.
Where's our official photographer?
All right, congratulations, you guys. I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna read the certificate, and then we're gonna do the oath together, okay? Awesome. Okay, so appointment to the Ethics Commission certificate. This certifies that this person is hereby appointed a member of the Ethics Commission of the City of Mableton, effectively on this 13th day of November 2024. This appointment is a testament to your commitment to upholding the highest standards and ethical conduct in public service, and a recognition of your expertise, integrity, and dedication to our community. Your insight and judgment will be invaluable to fostering transparency, accountability, and responsible stewardship in the City of Mableton. And I would like to go ahead with the loyalty oath now. If you raise your hand. I, your name, citizen of the United States of America. And being an appointed official of the City of Mableton. And recipient of public funds for services rendered. As such, as an appointed official, I will not hear
Xavier.
Okay, everybody can come front, please.
Oh, that's dangerous.
So hold the wires for the ladies.
Okay. I've got to sign these.
Okay.
Hey, I want to make sure for the planning commission members and the ethics board members, I still do need to sign those certificates. So before you leave, I will sign those if you make your way up here, maybe right after the meeting. Okay. All right. So thank you all. The inaugural ethics board members for the city of Mableton. Congratulations again, you guys. All right, we can move forward now with new business for this evening. The first item we have is an ordinance adopting the year 2025 meeting schedule. I'll remind everyone this meeting schedule is a calendar year schedule, not following our fiscal year. So, did I say that right?
Yes.
Oh, I just ran right by that. I'm sorry. My apologies for that. Madam Clerk, did you actually have comment cards? Well, no comment cards, but did you have anyone sign up for tonight? Okay, please proceed.
Okay, for public comment, it's a 2-minute time limit, and our first one was Cassandra Brown of District 4.
Mr. Mayor, I apologize. You need to make an important announcement about some cars about to get towed, and I want you to put this information out.
If you have it, please proceed, Mr. Manager.
Okay, owner of a black BMW license plate is DAC 4612, black BMW, license tag DAC 4612. You are illegally parked and you're about to be towed.
Do not be ashamed or too proud to get up. Go make sure your car does not get towed.
Everybody will see
We
you
all
on the live
understand
stream.
we've all been there before. The city will not reimburse towing, okay? Do you have another one?
No, sir. Thank you. Just wanted to
Okay.
confirm. Appreciate it, Mr. Mayor.
You're welcome. Ms. Brown, I was going to say, you don't, that's not your car. I'm sorry? That's not your car. Oh, no, I thought it was time for public comment? Go ahead, proceed, ma'am. I didn't see anybody get up, go running out the door to get their car, that's why.
Somebody
She's gonna
got
make her public comment, then she's running out.
Okay.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, citizens of Mableton. I'm Cassandra Brown, and I'm with the Mableton Improvement Coalition, and I just want to provide an update on our ongoing issue with the Cobb County School Board. So there is some land that the school board owns at 440 Veterans Memorial Highway. This land is purported to become a bus parking depot. So just to give you an idea of what that might look like, if any of you traverse Veterans and cross over the river into Atlanta, you'll notice on the left side of the road where the old Bankhead Courts was, they are building the exact same thing. And so our school board is proposing to do the same thing in Mableton. We are against this. So we have reached out to the board chair, in addition to the superintendent. Our president, Joel Cope, did hear from the superintendent recently, who indicated that he would be in touch with us to have further conversation and hopefully engage the community on this. So we will continue to pursue this with the school board. We offered anyone the opportunity to come out with us tomorrow. We'll be meeting with the school board twice. There's a 3:30 work session, and then there's also a public meeting at 7 p.m. Where we will plan to speak. So if you would like to join the petition that we actually have put out, you can go to mableton.org and sign our petition. We have 500 people so far who signed on, and it would be great if we can get more folks to sign on, just to show that the community is behind this effort to stop the bus depot. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Brown.
Okay, we have Joshua Helms of District 3, and following Joshua is Denny Wilson.
Good evening, Council. My name is Josh Helms. I am of District 3. While this is likely related to the transition period for the city of Mableton, while paying our bills recently, my wife and I learned that our area is being charged the billing rate for an unincorporated area of Cobb County. I had reached out to the City Council and was provided the same district map that is outside. I am securely within District 3, and I wanted to follow up on a possible city limits map that could clarify.
Thank you. Yeah,
And Denny
you can go to the
Wilson.
back. Our city manager is moving back there to chat with you.
Denny Wilson, District 2.
Good evening, Denny Wilson, District 2. I'm going to be short, but I needed to bring something to you guys' attention. You guys need to put up city limit signs on all the corners of Mableton, because in 5 and 6, there's a lot of people that still don't know they're in the city of Mableton.
Who you telling?
So I think if you put the signs up on each corner saying, entering the city of Mableton, it could be a small sign. It doesn't have to be anything big. Just alerting people that they are now in the city of Mableton, because I met quite a few people knocking on doors doing campaigning and didn't even know that they're in the city of Mableton. I'm talking about a lot. So that's all.
Thank you, Ms. Wilson.
Okay, that's all I have, but I would like to make an announcement on behalf of our executive assistants. They still need some of the, maybe the Planning Commission and the Ethics Commission to sign their oaths and certificates. Okay, to just remind you to see them back there to get the signing, and then the mayor would do some signing after the meeting.
Thank you, ma'am. I think that concludes public comments. Is correct, ma'am? Thank you. So we'll move forward. We don't have any items for the consent agenda tonight, nor do we have any unfinished business, so we'll go straight into new business. Our first item for new business tonight is a second read we have for the ordinance adopting the 2025 regular meeting schedule. Again, I mentioned before, this follows a calendar schedule, not necessarily a fiscal calendar, but the calendar year. So with that, Council I would entertain a motion to approve this ordinance for adopting year 2025 regular meeting schedule.
Make a motion to approve the ordinance adopting year 2025 regular meeting schedule and other purposes.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
I second.
Thank you. Motion's been made and duly seconded. All those in favor of approving the ordinance adopting year 2025 regular meeting schedule and other purposes, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. The ayes have it. Thank you. We'll move now to item B, which is the second read of an ordinance. And this ordinance amends the Georgia Municipal Employee Benefit system that we've talked about numerous times here for the Defined Benefit Retirement Plan Agreement. I don't know if there's anything we need to add to this. Anything, Madam Clerk? No? Okay. With that being said, I'd like to entertain a motion that we move forward to approve this ordinance amending the Georgia Municipal Employee Benefit System, being the Defined Benefit Retirement Plan Agreement.
Make a motion to approve the ordinance amending the Georgia Municipal Employees Benefit System Defined Benefit Retirement Plan Agreement.
Well done.
Thank you. Do you have a second?
I second.
No, say the whole thing.
Thank you. One more time. All those in favor of approving the ordinance amending the Georgia Municipal Employee Benefit System Defined Benefit Retirement Plan, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. The ayes have it. We will move forward. Thank you all. Item C is the consideration and approval of a resolution updating the City of Mableton's classification and pay plan. This, again, is the same pay plan that I think maybe the third time us updating this. As a reminder, anytime that there is new employees that we're going to add, or I'm not going to say new employees, anytime there are new roles that we're adding to the city, which this pay plan or pay classification and pay plan actually defines what the title of those roles are and what the minimum and maximum pay are for that. That's public information that's available for anybody that wants to see it about what roles that the city has. It doesn't necessarily mean those are roles we currently have or roles we're currently hiring for or roles that we have filled. These are defined roles that the city has and what we're currently paying for those. So this simply updates that, and we'll continue to update this. There'll be a regular course of action as we define more roles and build out the city. So with that said, Council, I'd like to entertain a motion that we approve this resolution updating the City of Mableton's classification and pay plan.
I move to approve the resolution updating the City of Mableton's classification and pay plan.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilman Ferguson. All those in favor of approving the resolution updating the City of Mableton's classification and pay plan, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. No opposition. The ayes have it. Thank you.
Shout out that we have staff.
Yeah, man, we can. Every time we update, this means we're growing. So that's a fantastic thing. Item D is a consideration approval of a resolution approving the maximum accrual of rollover time for city's employees to 320 hours. And I know this, our HR specialist, Ms. Candace Fields, had this agenda item. Is there anything, Madam, you'd like to discuss with this?
Good evening, Mayor, Council. I would like to ask for your support and approval to establish the accrual rollover to the maximum to 320 hours. The reason for this is because we're going to purge our books with Paycom this year, and if we don't have the rollover, they're going to take the city's leave.
That's it.
That's
Fair
it.
enough. That's it.
That's it.
Simple and plain. All right. With that said, no questions for Ms. Fields? Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
So with that said, I'd like to, and this is a resolution, so I'd like to entertain a motion to approve this resolution approving the maximum accrual of rollover time for city employees to 320 hours.
I move to approve the resolution approving the maximum accrual of rollover time for city employees to 320 hours.
I'll second the motion.
Thank you. Motion has been made and duly seconded. All those in favor of approving the resolution to approve a resolution approving the maximum accrual rollover time for city's employees to 320 hours, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Ayes have it. Thank you for that. All right, we're going to move forward now to item E. We're getting to some of our building and zoning activities. So item E is the second read of an ordinance, and this ordinance is creating Chapter 8 of the Building and Construction of the City of Mableton Code of Ordinance and for other purposes. Madam Attorney, is there anything you want to add on this? This is a second read, so we'll be voting on this.
Mayor, this is what was referenced earlier in the work session agenda. And I would say that this is a monumental step towards the city's incorporation and transition, in the sense that this establishes the legal framework for one of the tiers of your administrative active municipality service requirements. And you'll actually be adopting 2 of those tonight. So that is a major accomplishment. This basically just sets up your building and construction code. We've went over this. We've had the public hearing on this in prior meetings. We've had input from the community as well as subject matter experts in the industry. And if you scroll through, I just want the council just to send a reminder that you are also adopting with this a fee schedule. And this fee schedule, when residents look at this fee schedule, it should be substantially similar to what they're used to. It's identical to the fee schedule that the county has in place. So there's been no increase on any of the assessment amounts. And that is located in the agenda package on it starts on page 113. So the recommendation would be to approve the ordinance and the accompanying fee schedule attachment.
Okay, thank you. I had thought was going to be able to say that planning and zoning was the first one, but I don't know, this just came in different order, so we're doing building and construction first. All right. So with that said, I'd like to go ahead and entertain a motion that we approve this ordinance creating Chapter 8, Building and Construction of the City of Mableton Code of Ordinances and for other purposes.
I'll make a motion to approve the ordinance creating Chapter 8, Building and Construction of the City of Mableton Code of Ordinances and for other purposes and the accompanying fee schedule.
Outstanding. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any comment, discussion, questions about this?
I just had a question. I'm just wondering if Mr. Hosack had any additional comments about where we are on this.
As it relates to
I mean, just as
this-
it relates to just maybe some highlights or anything like that.
Mr. Hozak, do you have anything regarding the building and construction component to this? You don't have to run. It's all right, sir.
Right.
He's enthusiastic to tell us.
I don't know if worker.
No, sir, Mr. Mayor. Councilwoman, I did want to say appreciate Ms. Walker. She reached out. We talked about a couple of things. We tweaked a few things, just as usual. Pleasure to work with, and think you're going to have a really good product and a great rollout. So thanks for including me.
Thank you.
And Madam Attorney, when you mentioned having others take a look and consult, or not consult, but to chime in, were those industry experts? Those were. That was okay.
Yeah, I was going to say that the request, because obviously I'm not, you don't want me to do anything with it, your
Right.
building and construction. Well, I can do a little bit, but it's nothing that you would pay for. But so I did reach out to Bill and I did ask him to just get in touch, because you don't have that administrative staff in-house, to
Sure.
just reach out to people within the industry to have them look at this and provide that input that you would otherwise have if you had that staff in place, and he can give further detail on that.
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor. As Madam Attorney explained, we wanted to make sure someone at an operational level would look at the ordinance to see that we have any perhaps unintended consequences that may affect the way we do building inspections for our code enforcement team. So I did reach out to my network and found a subject matter expert in the area and have him to review the Chapter 8 for building. And Mr. Hosack and our city attorney both agreed that he found a couple of good points. certain things that would prevent confusion when it's time to enforce a certain code. People calling certain things different names when they're maybe not the proper names. Certain things that happen at the street level that wouldn't be caught at that. So they caught it, and then they're making the adjustments. So I'm very confident in the person who did it. He teaches the subject around the country. So.
Awesome. Thank you, sir. I do appreciate that. All right, at this point in time, I'd like to entertain a motion that we approve this ordinance, the ordinance creating Chapter 8 of Building Construction of the City of Mableton Code of Ordinances and for other purposes.
I make a motion to approve the ordinance creating Chapter 8, Building and Construction of the City of Mableton Code of Ordinances and for other purposes.
Didn't we already do that? Didn't I make the motion and it was seconded and?
Yes, you were in discussion, so it's just a matter
Oh,
of
yeah,
voting.
we're in discussion. Okay, so let's go ahead and vote. Yeah. So all those in favor of approving the second read, or in favor of approving the ordinance amending or creating?
I'm sorry, Susan said, could you confirm with her who the second was?
Who seconded?
Oh,
Thank you.
I was.
thank you, Councilman. So at this point in time, we're formally going to vote. All those in favor of approving an ordinance creating Chapter 8 for building construction of the City of Mableton Code of Ordinance, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. No opposition, the ayes have it. All right, now to our planning and zoning. Our next item is the second read for the ordinance amending Chapter 10, Article 1. This is the planning and zoning of the City of Mableton Code of Ordinances. It establishes a Mableton zoning code and a zoning map for other lawful purposes. And they, as mentioned before, there were some maps out there. There's a map right here hanging down. Some of you may have gotten a copy of maps outside. Council, I'm sure you've all seen the maps, part of the package of what we had. With that being said, Mr. Hosak, if you have anything to add, sir, please come to the podium.
Glad to see you have the shoulder sling off.
Look at there. January 1, I'm cleared to play golf.
All right, let's do it.
That was my whole goal. Thank you, Mayor Owens. I'll be very brief tonight. First off, congratulations to the Planning Commission appointees. Hopefully, we're going to have a chance to get together here shortly, along with the council members in smaller groups perhaps. But one of the next things we hope to do after tonight is some training, specific training that we can do in a one-on-one or two council folks at a time with me and our community development director and perhaps the city attorney or the city manager. But congrats to everybody, and you'll do a good job. Just know what you're facing, because it's probably one of the most emotional appointments that you'll have to, or the council will have to make, and they chose good folks. So did want to mention that we did make a couple of changes to the final draft, Mayor Owens, and those largely reflected comments that we received during our public hearing. Did want to point out that in Section 203, Item 5, we did implement a suggestion that we received from the Mableton Improvement Coalition. Very good suggestion as it relates to how we treat stipulations that included the district commissioner approving a site plan as part of a rezoning application. And the original language was it was going to be a little bit ornery as it related to the entire council having to approve something. So we modified it at the suggestion of the Mableton Improvement Coalition to allow a district council person to approve it the same way that Commissioner Sheffield would have approved it, and then it comes back at the next regularly scheduled consent agenda to be modified and confirmed by the full council. Very common practice in other jurisdictions, and so we felt like it was a great compromise, and thank you to the Mableton Improvement Coalition. And then secondly, there were some very minor changes to Section 6.17 6.20 and 7.30. And as Mr. Tanks had alluded to, we did these in conjunction with an outside operational consultant, making some very good suggestions as it related to consistency of language, how we've referred to things throughout, and we just made it consistent. So with that being said, and the adoption ordinance, including some language that references any zoning decisions that have been made by the Board of Commissioners after October 3rd, 2024, would need to be included, if applicable, on an updated zoning map. We would recommend you consider adoption and approval with that particular motion, and as may be advised by our city attorney, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Rosak.
Since nobody else is saying anything, let me ask this question, because I'm kind of ornery. Can you explain that change that you made again?
Sure. Right now, councilperson, if there are a number of conditions that will be part of a zoning stipulation. So there may be 10 stipulations, subject to the DOT comments, subject to right-in, right-out only on Floyd Road, subject to enhanced stormwater recommendations as agreed to by applicant and the Mableton Improvement Coalition, for lack of a better term. Or perhaps oftentimes with an organization that is also affected, i.e. a neighborhood homeowner association. What has become commonplace in Cobb County, Councilman Ferguson, is that there will be a final stipulation that usually reads final site plan to be approved by district commissioner, final landscape plan to be approved by district commissioner. Well, we were trying to figure out what happens when Commissioner Sheffield has not had an occasion to apply that approval. Maybe it's early in the process and they haven't sought land disturbance permits or building permits yet, Councilman. What do we do in that instance? Because as of tomorrow, Commissioner Sheffield probably wouldn't have authority to approve those particular plans if somebody were to approach the city about permitting it. So originally the draft that I prepared said that the entire council would have to do it. The Mableton Improvement Coalition said it should probably be the individual district council person versus the entire council, similar to the way Commissioner Sheffield would apply the approval as the representative county commissioner. And so we
So what happens
modified-
if it hits multiple districts?
Yes, and so what we figured the best approach to doing this would be, we have the district council person approve the plan, and then it is affirmed by the entire council at the next meeting.
So why do we need the individual district to approve it, just to bring it to a meeting in 2 weeks?
I think it was a matter of expeditious permitting. So there may be some instances where it would take perhaps a month to put it on a council agenda. And I think we had thought that there would probably be the best person that would be the most in touch with the issues would be the individual council person. So them applying the approval the same way Commissioner Sheffield would apply the approval was kind of the logical assumption as the best way to do it and the quickest way to do it, knowing that we had to come back and affirm with the entire mayor and council afterwards. But it was really more of a convenience to applicants and to provide for better permitting and less work on the entire council, more hands-on involvement by the individual council members, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions, comments? Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mayor.
No, sir.
Okay, thank you. With that being said, I'd like to entertain a motion that.
May I make a few comments?
Absolutely.
Yes, the first is with respect to the title, and this starts on page 155. I would just like to strike the word Article 1 out of the title. I do have the ability to do this, Susan and myself, without the council, but just, I want to be as clean as possible with this and just put that in whatever motion that you make. So I'd like to just strike Article 1, so it would read an ordinance amending Chapter 10, Planning and Zoning.
You just want to strike it, strike Article 1.
Yeah, strike the word Article 1, which is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is the fifth word or fifth phrase in the title. And then I'd like to remind the council, this, similar to the building code, if you scroll down to, well, first, just so you're aware of the way that your zoning code is structured, you have this title, which is going to be your planning and zoning title, and you've already created this through your planning commission that you've created, as well as your Board of Zoning Appeals. Now, what this title does is that it references the Mableton zoning code, and the Mableton zoning code is that voluminous document that Rob spoke with you about, and that will be an appendix to this title. And if you look at the language in here, it states that. And then you have your zoning map, which is an attachment to this. And then you have your fee schedule, which is also an attachment in a section here. And then if you go down to the very end in the boilerplate language, it states, it acknowledges that the city is yet to transition zoning and that this ordinance will not go into effect until February 1st. But just keep in mind that for this ordinance to go into effect, we will still need to give the county also that 30 days notice, which we'll discuss in your December meeting. We discussed this also at your recent planning retreat, but we will be coming to you at the beginning of December to talk about and get permission from you to actually send that notice to the county saying that, look, this is the actual date that we do plan to transition the zoning services. And then obviously the reason that the effective date of this is set for February 1st is because you have the legal framework, but you need the time to set up the administrative framework, which Bill has already started the wheels rolling on that, just getting staff, getting office space, et cetera. So with that said, the request would be to adopt this with the modification to the title as requested by the city attorney.
Got you. Thank you. I do have a question. Is there a reason why we have to stipulate the date in this ordinance?
Well, you need an effective date because ordinarily your ordinances say they'll go into effect upon adoption. But we didn't want this to go into effect upon adoption because you're not going to regulate it upon adoption. Right. So I just put the February 1st effective date. However, if you want to change that, we can do that. We would just need to go through the process to change it, but you can change it at your discretion anytime prior to February 1st, if you want to extend it or make it sooner.
Yeah, I'm just thinking from an operational perspective, between now and when we notify the county, if that changes, then we would have to come back and modify the ordinance.
We can change it to February 15th if that.
No, let me be clear, I'm not suggesting that we do.
I would actually.
Procedurally, I just want to make sure that we're.
If you, may I have the floor, Mr. Mayor? My apologies.
Please, go ahead.
Yeah, so the plan is, in conjunction with the city attorney, is that I will actually check with the community development director to give me a go date. As we said, we're going to get them into place, a couple of practice runs. There's some shadowing going on with Cobb County. And I'm quite sure our community development director, she'll want them to be perfect, but I'll let them get close to perfect and push them out in the water. And so I'm thinking, I would ask that if February 1st still may be slightly a challenge because we may not be moved into the middle of January. And so I'm thinking more like the middle of February, no later than March 1st, is to be safe. But my question would be, if we were ready sooner, could we do that?
Yeah, and here's the good part. The good part is that even though you have the ordinance in place, you still can't facilitate the service until the notice goes out to the county. So you could have the ordinance in place February 1st, you just wouldn't be able to do anything legally, like you couldn't take building permits from residents
Right.
until you give the county that proper notice.
It's a 30-day notice.
Yes, which is the 30-day notice, because there's two components. You establish the legislation, and then you give the county the notice of the date that you plan to start actively facilitating under that legislation.
Okay. I just want to make sure we're not dictating dates out here that they're not, signing off on. That's-
Right.
Well, the administrative date will be the date that we propose in December, and that will be based on the date that Bill thinks he is most comfortable with
Right.
in recommending to the council in early December as far as the date to notify the county that this is the date that we will start facilitating this service.
Okay. If you're all comfortable with it, I am. All right, with that being said, anything else before we vote on this?
So I have one more question. So as I've read through this document painstakingly, there are places where I don't truly understand why we're referencing, like, say, DeKalb County or other locations. And playing Captain Correction, I want to make sure that what I'm reading is not a typo, but there's something with, like, say, DeKalb County and their flood insurance study that we're focused on that versus something that was done in Cobb County.
Can you give me an example of the DeKalb, like where it appears, and I can give you more
Section
context?
8.22, amendments to the International Building Code and International Residential Code.
Okay, and what page is
Page
that?
number,
That
sir.
is,
I'm not on that big document that you guys are on. But that's the section. It's my page 4 of the ordinance itself.
Page 79 of 572.
You're
in the
looking at-
packet.
This is the building one.
You're looking at the building ordinance.
Page 79
Yeah, that's the other one. That's the other one.
in the packet.
page 79?
Yeah,
No, this is the building one. I clicked on the wrong one.
so it's not 8.22?
Yeah, I clicked on the wrong one. My apologies.
Mr. Mayor, our, Mr. Hosack could probably answer that question if he gets the floor.
Looking, would you, because I know we've gone past that, but I think it's still pertinent to this as well.
Councilman Ferguson, excellent question. The way the DCA, Department of Community Affairs, regulates building ordinances, there can be some local exceptions that can be made, and those are usually cited. I believe DeKalb County has a couple. Actually, Cobb County has a few as well. But I think that's where that comes up, is there are some local variations to the International Building Code that are at the discretion. There are, as our city attorney would point out, there are resolutions with timeframes. If there is going to be a local exception or a local amendment by the city or any local jurisdiction, you just have to follow those rules, and you have to give them 30 days notice to review your special building code that doesn't exist in the International Building Code. And once they have kind of shaken or nodded their head, sir, then you're free to adopt, and it can go into effect.
Got it. Thank you. I'll be quiet now.
Madam Clerk, was a motion made at all, or do we still need to make a motion?
Yes, we would need to make a motion to approve.
If it pleases our mayor. I do
No other
not.
comments? Okay, please.
I'd like to make a motion to approve an ordinance amending Chapter 10, Planning and Zoning of the City of Mableton Code of Ordinances, establishing a Mableton zoning code and zoning map, and for other lawful purposes.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
I second.
Thank you, Councilwoman Herndon. All those in favor of approving the ordinance amending Chapter 10, Article 1, Planning and Zoning of the City of Mableton Code of
Well, Mayor,
Ordinances.
for clarification, the
gonna
motion
strike
is to
that.
approve it
Oh.
with the striking
Yeah,
of the
that's-
Article 1 out of the title,
With
just the title.
Understood.
So you did state it correctly, Councilwoman, but I think the mayor referenced Article 1 when he repeated it.
I'd like to amend my motion to also add that Article 1 is striked from the title within the ordinance.
Well, no, just,
So just say
yes,
without it.
just from within the title, correct.
Just within the title.
Is it referenced elsewhere or is it just a title?
It's just the title. Because it narrows the title, so just out of caution, I'd like to expand the reading of the title. So instead of saying amending just that article, it's just amending that title period, which is, that chapter,
The
which is
chapter
chapter
10.
10.
So you want to make a,
I'm going to forfeit my motion and let someone else get a stab at it.
make the motion and don't say Article 1 period, just chapter 10.
I didn't say it the first time.
I need to understand the motion. Do you know what it is?
Well, we're
Okay,
just
you
striking
want-
out Article 1 from the title. So the person making the motion needs to say, striking out Article 1,
At the end of the
and then
sentence.
continue?
Yes, I would say I move that we approve the ordinance amending Chapter 10, Article 1, Planning and Zoning, that is presented in the agenda today, with the exception that we remove the word Article 1 from the title.
Okay. I would like to make a motion to approve an ordinance amending Chapter 10 in our agenda today, striking Article 1 from the title for planning and zoning of the City of Mableton Code of Ordinance, establishing a Mableton zoning code and zoning map, and for other lawful purposes.
Thank you. A motion has been made. Do we have a second?
Is that correct?
And Susan, can you read that again? And I'm sorry I'm being so meticulous, but this
Okay,
has to be
okay, hold on.
perfect.
Let me ask some clarity here. The question is, the reason that I asked is that, are you making sure that the amendment does not include Article 1 as the title of this, or are you trying to get permission to strike Article 1
No,
anywhere
we
in the
want
document?
Article 1 in here, and that's why I'm making sure that the language is not striking Article 1. We do not want to strike Article 1. The only thing I want to do is remove reference to it from the title.
But is
So it's
that not
adopting the ordinance as presented, but removing reference to Article 1 from the title of the ordinance.
So my question is that not one of those, I forget the word that you used.
Yeah, it's one of the substantive changes that Susan and I can make, but I'm treating this with more caution than I would ordinarily treat your ordinances, and that's why I need this to, we would want this to be perfect, because this is one of your transitional legs.
Okay. I motion for us to approve the ordinance amending Chapter 10, Article 1, Planning and Zoning of the City of Mableton Code of Ordinances, establishing a Mableton zoning code and zoning map for other lawful purposes, striking out the reference of Article 1 from the title.
Perfect.
I second.
Thank you. So, all those in favor of amending Article, all those in favor, oh, wait, hand
We
went
don't
up?
want you to have to say it again. We know what it is. We're looking out for you, Mayor.
Making a gallant effort.
Go ahead.
Or as motioned by Councilwoman Oladapo.
Yeah, all those in favor of moving forward with the motion that was made by Councilwoman Oladapo, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. The ayes have it, and we have now passed an ordinance, which means a city law that establishes our planning and zoning for the city of Mableton. All right, let's move on to item G, which is a consideration and approval of construction and installation of the low voltage systems for 6116 Mableton Parkway, Suite 140 and 144, as well as 1245 Veterans Memorial Highway. This motion, this consideration for approval includes both locations and is not to exceed $90,000. Mr. Tanks, I know this is moving us forward and closer to actually getting both our operations and our administration offices both open. Is there something anything you want to add to this time?
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor. Keeping our eyes on the big picture, and that is transition and services. It seems like everything's aligning. Ordinances are approved tonight. Staff is coming on board. and we need space to work. And we want to make sure when they hit the ground that they are well equipped, no snafus. We don't have time to waste. And so our construction contractors are slightly ahead of schedule. And we want to make sure that while we're in a construction mode, we can address the needs for low voltage, which includes both IT infrastructure and our AV infrastructure. Our particular operations building will be somewhere that citizens come to get their permits. They may want to review plans. We're going to have plotters there. There's a lot that goes into a community development plan and zoning practice that we should be able to accommodate first class. And then in our administration building, we have more than 12 offices, and this is twice as big as the other building, but it's just very wise that if we would get this provision or a vendor to do both facilities, because of economies of scale, we could probably save money and time. And so this allows us to allow you, the mayor, to negotiate and get this approved so that we can address this issue. Our administration building also has a flex space that can accommodate up to 35 to 40 people, where our new planning and zoning commission can meet and vote and discuss, and other cabs can do the same. So I would ask the council to support this, because at this point, we do not want to slow down the construction. And we have done a lot of research, myself, Ruben, talking with different vendors and looking at what our needs are. And I think we've made a decision that we want to give ourselves the best shot. So this should achieve that, sir.
Thank you for that. At this point in time, I'd like to entertain a motion to approve the construction and installation of low voltage for 6116 Mableton Parkway, Suite 140 and 144, and 1245 Veterans Memorial Highway for an amount not to exceed $90,000.
Motion to consider and approve the construction and installation of low voltage systems for 6116 Mableton Parkway, Suite 140 and 144, and 1245 Veterans Memorial Highway for an amount not to exceed $90,000.
I second.
Thank you. The motion's been made and seconded. Any comments or discussion on this item?
City Manager, are you coming back for more after this for these two properties, do you think?
I
How
hope-
comfortable are you with your actual quoting and what we've spec'd out?
I can never sit here and make a commitment to something that's unforeseen or maybe needs, but this is a good target. But I won't say publicly that I'm not coming back. My goal is to make sure staff is properly equipped. That is, and sometimes there's things we don't see. I'm hopeful that this will address most of our needs, but if there's a need that is very legitimate, I'll always come back to the council before we spend it and say, council, here's a need, I need your approval. You have already approved this in our budget. I think because we crossed that threshold of 10,000 for the city manager, this is more of a courtesy coming back and say, hey, I need to spend the money that you approved for our facilities. So we're still under budget. And so, yes, sir, if there's a need, I may come back. Hopefully not.
Hopefully.
Councilman Ferguson, I will note that this consideration for approval is for low voltage systems. And as an IT professional, I think you do understand
Right.
that I'm not going to allow our city manager to be boxed in on this when I think it was mentioned before that the need to push this forward now is because ultimately we can save money by getting this negotiation, getting this low voltage system put in. And anyone that's in construction will understand if you can do this work while the place is being built, while it's being built out, it's much cheaper than coming back later on and having to tear out walls and ceilings and everything else. So again, I know ultimately we're going to save money by doing this. Whether there are some needs that come back up is yet to be seen, but it's imperative, I think, that we move forward on this now for the overall good of both locations for us to save money. So anything else from the council on this item? All right, at this point in time, I'd like to go ahead and call a vote. All those in favor of approving the construction and installation of low voltage systems for 6116 Mableton Parkway, Suite 140 and 144, and 1245 Veterans Memorial Highway for the amount not to exceed $90,000, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. No opposition, the ayes have it. And we'll move forward to item H, which is consideration approval of a contract with Contract Business Interiors. This is the vendor that is under state contract that we are getting our furniture from. This specific item here is for furniture for the administration building. That will be at 1245 Veterans Memorial Highway. The contract price for this is $104,000. It will provide all the initial necessary furniture for our administrative building. And again, I'll say this is on the state contract. So that is state contract pricing. Council, any questions relates to this matter?
Get her done.
Hearing none, I'll go ahead and entertain a motion to approve this item.
I move to approve the contract, the approval of contract business services for furniture at Administrative Services Building located at 1245 Veterans Memorial Highway.
Madam Councilwoman, you said contract business services. It's contract business interiors.
Oh, I'm sorry, I did say that. Okay. I amend my motion to approve the contract business interiors, CBI, for furniture at Administrative Services Building located at 1245 Veterans Memorial Highway.
Thank you. Seconded?
Yep, second.
Thank you. Any discussion?
Do we need to include the
amount?
rest of it? The amount that was left out?
Sure. Amend that once more, Councilwoman.
All right. One more time. Third time's the
I just want to make sure.
Okay, I amend my previous motion to approve the contract business interior CBI for furniture at Administrative Services Building located at 1245 Veterans Memorial Highway for $104,000 state contract price.
Again,
I second.
Thank you. It's moved, seconded. Any discussion on this? I just want to make sure whoever contract business services we're going to get happy.
Right.
All right. All those in favor of approving the approval of contract business interior CBI for furniture of the administration buildings located at 1245 Veterans Memorial Highway for the price of $104 from the state contract price, please say aye.
Aye.
104,000. Boy, what's going on tonight?
What happened?
All right. Now let me do that once again.
Did I say $104?
No, I did. That was on me.
Oh.
We're all dropping the ball tonight.
If the council pleases, what I would like to move this forward to a vote for the approval of the contract business interior CBI for furniture at the Administrative Services Building located at 1245 Veterans Memorial Highway for the amount of $104 at the state.
1,000.
You could just say the motion made by Councilman Herndon.
Where I'm going.
The motion that she made.
You know what, ladies and gentlemen? Ladies and gentlemen of the council, if it pleases you, I would like to call for a vote to approve the motion that Councilwoman Herndon made. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay.
We can't talk today.
The ayes have it. I know. Let's get out
got
of
one
here.
more, guys.
One more, ladies and gentlemen. This is item I, which is the consideration and approval of the agreement with Piper Sandler and Company, which is Ed Wall, who is a financial advisor. Madam Attorney, anything you have to add to this? We talked about it during.
Yes, Mayor and Council, this is the item that we discussed during the workshop, and this is just approval of Ed Wall to compensate him for the services that he provides. It would have two components again. The first would be his hourly rate for non-specialized transactions, and that would be like a specialized transaction would be like a bond inducement or a bond validation. So for those transactions, for whatever advice and work he gives, he would not charge the $250 rate. It would be 1% of the transaction. And then if it does not involve a specialized transaction with specialized financing, his hourly rate would be $250. And the request would be to authorize the execution of this agreement. And then the services that he's permitted to do would be as authorized by the mayor and/or city manager.
Thank you. All those in favor of approving the agreement with Piper Sandler and Company, Ed Wall, financial advisor, I'd like to entertain a motion.
Motion.
Please.
And approval, consideration and approval of agreement with Piper Sandler and Company, Mr. Ed Wall, financial advisor.
Thank you.
second.
Seconded by Councilwoman Herndon. Any discussion? All those in favor of the approval of an agreement with Piper, Sandler and Company, Edwall Financial Advisor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please say nay. Hearing no opposition, the ayes have it. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Item 13, there is no other business or discussions in front of us this evening. With that, that takes us to our comments. The first one would be with our city manager. Mr. Manager, do you have any comments, sir?
Yes, sir. I have a list, and it just got erased, but let's see. All right. Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Council. I'm actually proud of y'all. It is 8 o'clock, rocking and rolling. I want to let you know that it's exciting for me tonight because to see the ordinances get approved, staff is getting hired, and buildings are under construction. We are moving in the right direction. Our plumbing and framing inspection passed the test for 6116. That's a big, big hurdle. They're now doing sheetrock. If you get a chance, go by 6116. You'll see the building is coming to life. I'm excited about that. We went over and talked with them and about security, and there was a gate that was not approved by all parties concerned, and our landlord did, before we knew it, went back and installed a brand new gate, nice security gate that's going to protect our vehicles and our staff. We have permits have been applied for now for 1245 VMH. We're in the permit process for that, so that's rolling. Our P-card program has been launched. Training is required for non-routine users, and they'll be issued after you receive training and necessary for travel. Then also, we had a new hire here, had to let her go. We got staff here. I would like to ask Mr. Xavier Ross to stand up. He hasn't been introduced to our public. Mr. Xavier Ross is our Special Projects Manager. You'll see him running around. He promises to improve some of our pictures and other things of communication type items. He's been a great help to me already. I do want to say also our HR firm, HRKS, Ms. Janae Bowler, lost her grandfather. Please keep her in her prayers this week. That's going to be a funeral Friday. Then I want to do a shout out to Barry Krebs. I just want to say Barry Krebs is a model citizen. I don't know if he's here tonight. Barry, if you would stand up. We haven't started our code enforcement department yet, but I can tell you now, code enforcement is underway in Mableton because as soon as Barry finds a violation, he acts on it. He copies the whole council, and he makes sure that somebody goes out and do it. So I don't take that for granted when our citizens get involved, so I want to thank him publicly. Then I want to thank Rob Hosack. I know he's left for the night. He's probably gone, but to get us across the line with this ordinance, him and Emilia, thank you. And
I'm sorry, Mr. Manager. You said something about HRKS, but we couldn't understand what you said.
Okay, I apologize. So our HR firm, HR Knowledge Source, HRKS, Ms. Janae Bowler, who's the contractor who has helped us out a lot, they'll be presenting in December. She lost her grandfather a couple of days ago. Mm-hmm. So I was asking the council to keep her in your thoughts and prayers. Thank you. Yep. And then the successful planning conference, I just want the public to know that this council, they grind, they really worked hard, went through some tough subjects, and really positioned us to be successful at our planning conference. It was a very good planning conference. And last but not least, y'all can now take shots back at Mr. Davis and Ms. Jeffcoat and say the reason we got done early is because they were not here. That is my final comment.
Thank you, sir. Madam Clerk, do you have any comments this evening?
No comments.
Thank you. Madam Attorney, comments? No comments, Mayor. Thank you. Councilwoman Oladapo.
Feels weird to go first. Good evening, everybody. I just want to thank and congratulate our shiny new Planning Commission and Ethic Board. Wanted to thank you for your willingness to serve and that the work that you're going to be doing is very critical in creating the future that we want to see for the city of Mableton. So thank you very much. And it's great to see all of you tonight. I hope you have a safe travel back home.
Thank you, Councilwoman Ogg.
I'm just going to echo what Councilor Oladapo stated and just thank you to all of our citizens who have stepped up to fill the roles of our various boards and commissions, particularly the Planning Commission and the Ethics Board tonight, and very pleased that that we have so many engaged citizens, so thank you, and have a safe drive home tonight.
Thank you. Councilman Ferguson.
The only thing that I want to bring up is, you know, as we look at the fact that we are still growing, there's still a bunch of things that we've got to figure out. And I am extremely impressed, pleased with the folks that we now have on staff to actually start to create SOPs, policy, and those things that we need to make sure that we're hitting all the, hitting our stride the way that it needs to be hit. So I look forward to everything that we need to do. Let's engage whoever we need to engage, the community, whoever, to help make sure that we're getting all those things done, and so that we can deliver the product that you all expect. So that's all I have.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome, staff.
All right.
Councilman Herndon.
Last, I'm going to be echoing what many of my council members already said. Welcome to our newest employees. I don't see our latest one, Rochelle, here, but I know she was here earlier. It's just a sign that Mableton really is growing. Every time I come to a meeting, there's someone new. So there's definitely been really great growth. And I want to thank all of our volunteers who have stepped up and decided to be on our Planning Commission and our Ethics Board. We can't do this by ourselves. There's no way. And every time I'm very encouraged when I see our citizens willing to step up and volunteer their time. So despite the old saying, something about public funds or whatever, is actually an unpaid position. And the fact that you're willing to dedicate your time each and every day, you know, to help the city of Mableton grow and to flourish is really inspiring to me. So thank you for your time. Thank you for everyone who is here today. You all are looking especially dapper today. Everyone's dressed up, you know, so you all look really good. So thank you for being here today.
Thank you. I think it's that fall attire that's coming in. It's got people dressing up a little nicer. There are a couple of things I want to get to, and Mr. Manager, in the discussion about our ethics board, there was one member that was not here during that, and I think in lieu of having this at another meeting, if it pleases the council, I'd like to have Mr. Joel Cope come up and have his certificate presented to him. Okay. Let's do it.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor and City Council members. My apologies for being late, but unfortunately, I was actually just now getting here from work. So that tells you what kind of day it's been today, but I guess first world problems, but you know.
Don't let it happen again.
All right, so here's how it's going to go, Joel. Everyone's already heard the certificate language.
Okay.
So we're going to spare them hearing it twice.
Sure.
But what we'll do is ask you to take our loyalty oath.
Okay,
So if
absolutely.
you don't mind, raise your right hand
Okay.
and repeat after me. I, Joel Cope,
I, Joel Cope,
a citizen of the United States and being an appointed official of the city of Mableton,
being a United States citizen and an appointed official of the City of Mableton,
and the recipient of public funds for services rendered,
and recipient of public funds for services rendered,
as an appointed official,
as an appointed official,
I do by solemnly swear and affirm
I do by solemnly swear and affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Georgia.
and the Constitution of the State of Georgia.
Congratulations, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right.
Appreciate it.
All right, you get a, come on.
Okay. Do the picture.
Don't show up late thinking you'll get your own food. I think Lily's already, take this to the back to Alice.
Okay. Okay. Sure. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so I have a comment or two, then I got something else kind of special I want to get to. First and foremost, I would also like to thank the members of the Planning Commission and the Ethics Board. It's great to have you guys on board. There's other cabs to come. But thank you all for being willing to take your time and your effort to make the city a better place to work, live, and play. I also want to acknowledge Mr. Xavier Ross for coming onto the city. Thank you, sir, for coming and joining us. Mr. Xavier Ross, I think our city manager was a little brief when mentioning him. Mr. Xavier Ross is well known and respected throughout Metro Atlanta for the work that he does in municipalities. And I'm happy to have him on as a senior member of the staff. Special projects is a role to where the city manager entrusts an individual to kind of drop into any situation at any time and any task and represent the office of the city manager, but also any of the operational activities we have going on in the city to remove speed bumps, road bumps, blockers, and make things happen. So he's a quintessential glue guy at the senior level of this city. So I'm happy to have him on board. We've talked about Mableton 2045 a lot, our comprehensive plan that's required by the state, and you guys will hear referred to many, many times. Planning Commission members that we have coming on, get ready, right? But yesterday we had our first steering committee. It was at the library, the South Cobb Regional Library in Mableton, and I will tell you firsthand, I was amazed at what I saw and heard. We had some of the staff there as well. We have assembled a super team, right, of people that are very passionate about the city. There are people that have lived here for 30 and 40 years, not calling anybody's age, but been here quite some time. We have people that have held roles within the county and state level. We have professionals that actively work in commercial real estate, that work in construction, that work in regional transportation. So I'm happy and proud of what we built out for a steering committee. I think they will do us well. The work that Grice and TSW has done thus far has been very good, very professional. But as I told them yesterday, this comp plan is not about the city of Mableton. It's not about me or the council, right? It's about all of you. It's about our citizens. It's about our kids. It's called Mableton 2045 for a reason, right? Because that is how far out we are looking. And I'll give you a quick stat here. Speaking of Mableton 2045, ARC, Atlanta Regional Commission, says by 2050, Cobb County will be at 1 million people, right? They're projected to have almost 350,000 more people by 2050. And I'll tell you all right now, I'll make this prediction, a lot of those people are going to be coming here in Mableton, right? We border the city of Atlanta. We will continue to see development and growth. The question is, what will that development and growth look like, right? Will that be planned growth? Will that be smart growth? Will that be intentional growth? If you're not looking for growth, then Mableton is probably not the place, because we're going to continue to see it. And, you know, regardless of what happens at referendums or with votes, people are still going to come, right? So it's going to be incumbent on all of us to make sure that not only are people on our steering committee or our planning commission, but all of us, right, chime in and have, take a part in this growth we're going to have as a city. So with that said, I want to yield the rest of my time very quickly to someone who's probably going to kill me when we leave here, but I'm going to have to acknowledge her because she was named Mableton Citizen of the Year. Her name is Ms. Carolyn Turner, and I would like to yield the rest of my time for her to come up and acknowledge her fellow residents of the city of Mableton. Yes, I know I'm going to get killed. I know.
Hey, neighbor. Council, thank you for the opportunity to just say a couple of words. I know we're ready to go home. But this is another surprise tonight. But one of the greatest surprises in my life was to get named Citizen of the Year for the city of Mableton. Been in Mableton for the last 22 years, and we have a nonprofit organization. I mean, I own a business in Mableton as well. I don't find as much gratitude and all in the business that I own, even though, you know, that's what we all have to do is work. But we operate a nonprofit that assists families children, helps with education, helps with supplies, and many things that I even consider that to be part of economic development in a community. Community is important, whether it is education or whether it is economic development or whether it is transportation or whether it is all these other things that we work at and have an interest in to make it happen. But just simply to be able to serve families meals, have clothing for them, have other things for that's required of for children and all that. To me, personally, that's part of helping a community to grow. And that's the part that we have played as Hope Family Resource Center. And I'm so thankful for that. It was a huge surprise for me. I think Bill Tanks kind of set the tone for it, but I never thought that it would end up with me being called and named the Citizen of the Year for the City of Mableton. Love City of Mableton. The mayor, I understand that my name came up somewhere, and you wasn't there for me to say thank you and all of that, but you had your council that was there and very supportive, and we sat at the same table, and nobody led on to anything. That was one of the highest points of my life. And I think my comment was never in a million years would I have thought that the efforts that I do in the community with families and children and my work with Mableton Improvement Coalition for the past 7 or 8 years, all of those things, they're important to me, but never in a million years would I have thought little old me, Carolyn Turner, would have been recognized for that. And for that, I'm just saying thank you to you, Mayor. Been knowing him for years, goes back a long time. But I'm thankful. Just thank you for giving me just a moment to say that. I didn't know that I would be called up here tonight. Had a few difficulties and hadn't been able to make some of the meetings, the city council meetings. But my interest and my heart is still with the city of Mableton.
Thank you, Mayor. I'll tell you all firsthand, no one is better deserving than someone who selflessly gives herself to make their community better. So Carolyn, thank you. And it has been, it's over 10 years ago, I think we served on an economic development committee together. So congratulations again on that well-deserving award. Apologies for not being able to be there, but I think I tried to make up for it tonight. You're welcome. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we have no more business in front of us. So with that said, I'd like to entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I second.
Thank you. The motion has been made and duly seconded. All those in favor of adjourning, please say aye. Aye. All opposed say nay. Ayes have it. We stand adjourned. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.